Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to teach you how to rehouse baby tarantulas, or as tarantula keepers like to call them, slings. Now this can be quite scary with slings as small as these. As you can tell, this thing is smaller than the size of my nail. Or also really aggressive old world tarantulas like the feather-leg baboon or the rear horn baboon. But don't worry, I'm going to have a method where you don't even have to have them basically leave an enclosure. It's more of like transporting them from an enclosure to another enclosure. And no, it's not the cheating way of getting their old enclosure, take off the lid, put it inside the new enclosure, and just hope to God they come out of it at nighttime. Which usually they don't. If they have a home, they will stay there until you make them leave. So you just got two new slings and they're in tiny small containers like this. So the first thing I do is I get a piece of cardboard like the one you see in this video right here. I put the container on top of the cardboard, I get myself a marker, and I trace the bottom of the container. I cut a hole in the piece of cardboard, and after that, I get another container that's gonna fit over the hole on the cardboard. This is an old Play-Doh container, and it's a see-through Play-Doh container, and all I did was poke holes on the sides and on the top, and what this does is it allows me to put a stick inside the holes all over the place inside the container to move the tarantula around. You're also going to need a piece of paper. I like to use construction paper. It's thicker. What I do is I fold it in half, and sometimes I even fold it again, and I'll use packing tape to tape around the edges so it's easy to slide in between the cardboard and the enclosure. So go ahead and carefully take the lid off of the enclosure, put the cardboard on top with the little tiny transfer cup on top of that, and then you're just gonna get the stick and you're gonna gently, be very careful, you're gonna gently tap the legs of the tarantula. And what you're gonna want him to do is get scared, and he's gonna go into the capture cup on top. And then once you get him into the capture cup, what you're gonna do is gently slide in between the construction paper. And once you got that in there, bam, you've caught yourself a sling. And then just go to your new enclosure, and that's another thing. You better have a new enclosure ready to go. So go to your new enclosure, take off that lid, make sure to have it off beforehand. I've made the mistake multiple times of doing that. And then just go ahead and place it on top of that enclosure, and then just release or slide out the construction paper. And then you're gonna just wanna do the same thing. You're just gonna pull out the little stick and gently tap the legs of the sling. And I really tell you, you don't have to push on them, you just gently touch them, and that should scare them. And once they go to the new enclosure, you can see right here, all I do is slide the lid over the top, pull out the cardboard, and the tarantula is in its new home. And sometimes, like I said, if you just want to move the tarantula, he may not want to move, but if you just tap his legs, rub his leg, I'm talking very gently, he will move. And it might take a bit. He'll want to go around his house. He doesn't want to leave his home, just like us humans. And if you just gently do it, he'll eventually come out. And you might have to do it a couple of times. It might take a couple minutes, but he will go into the capture cup. Now, for even smaller slings, like super duper small slings, like this is my Phainopelma hensi, and it is so tiny. And if you are comfortable, like me, I just go ahead and put it over. I don't put it on top, but I just gently tilt over the old little cup, and then I put his new enclosure on the side, and I do the same thing. I just gently push him in. I don't push. I gently touch his leg, and he'll kind of crawl into his new enclosure. Just like you can see here. See, I barely touched his leg, and he's going into his new enclosure. He's just trying to get away from what he thinks is a predator. Now, if you are scared, you can do it like this. As you can see, I have the new enclosure in a tub. I have him in the capture cup, and I'm just gently rubbing his leg. I keep on saying pushing, but I mean I'm just gently touching his leg, trying to get him to go into the new enclosure. This is a Mexican red rump I'm putting into the enclosure. It's a New World species, so he's not as crazy, not as flighty, and that's why he's going so easy into the new enclosure. So depending on what kind of tarantula you have, and the tarantula itself, every tarantula is different. It just depends on how they will react going to the new enclosure. But I'm pretty confident a lot with my tarantulas. And if you don't have the confidence, that's why I'm making this video. So hopefully it helps you. Hopefully, you know, if you're too scared of just an open top, you technically never have to have that. It will always be inside of an enclosure. And I really hope this video helped. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.